As some of you may know, when I had to take my A2, my CBT expired. So just before that I had to retake my CBT. And what you're seeing here is when I did eventually retake it. When I did the low speed maneuvers, they came to the conclusion that I'm obviously someone with a lot of experience. I nailed them all, so they just said, you know what, this is just a grin and bear it type situation, so we'll take you out on the better roads because we trust you. I'm already having problems with the speedometer because it's literally bouncing between a range of like 10 miles an hour. So the guy behind me, the instructor, he's wondering why I'm going so slowly. That's because I can't tell what my speed is reliably. You know, if that happens to you, then don't be afraid to just use the lower number. And if your instructor tells you to go faster, don't feel too pressured. Just go like, I don't know, 5 miles an hour quicker. Because their speedometer is obviously going to read differently to what yours is reading.
Oh, the speedometer is bouncing around. I can't even tell what speed I'm going because it keeps bouncing.
And we're on two different bikes right now. He's on the CB125 and I'm on the Honda Vision. So they're completely different bikes from different eras with different accuracies in the speedometer. And actually on my first CBT, the instructor had a big GS, and he was constantly telling me to speed. Like I was pretty sure I was going 30 because the bike's at 30, but he kept telling me to speed up and telling me that people are piling on behind. So eventually I ended up going 50 miles an hour in some 30 zones. But he didn't seem to care that I was going too fast, so it is what it is. If you ever feel you're going too fast, don't be afraid to slow down. They can't mark you down for it unless you're going 20 and a 30.
I really hate this speedometer. I can't see what speed I'm going. It keeps bouncing between 44 and 36.
Yeah, and the mirrors on these bikes, they're really bad, so you really have to depend on your lifesaver maneuvers. So your lifesaver checks.
Oh.
Whenever you make any kind of move left or right, look behind you physically. Don't rely on them, because you'll only see your shoulders or elbows.
I didn't realise it was a road.
And we're coming onto
I thought it was just an entrance to a business or
illegal drag strip right now. One of my favourite roads. Unfortunately, at the end we turn off. We don't get to go the twisties like I like to do.
Those mirrors are really bad too.
I don't know why particularly went into the residential area, because he trusts my ability. He knows I can do it.
Yeah, it's Romford Road, okay.
I think it's more of a risk analysis thing.
My favourite road.
Obviously during COVID you don't want to get injured under any circumstances, so hence why we're all using automatic scooters instead of the manual bikes. I'm not going on the bigger roads. It would have been fun. It would have been a fun ride if we went down the high speed roads.
I can't see what I'm doing.
Yeah, at the lights, just remember to keep checking your mirrors. Check if anyone filters up behind you, because it might not happen here, but in particularly the residential areas, you get delivery riders cutting between you and the instructor, which on my A2 lessons has led to a lot of heated moments between my instructors and the delivery riders.
Please tell me we're going to the country roads. But then again, it's on this scooter. I really don't like this scooter.
Yeah, it's important to note that even though I'm wearing a tinted visor right now, it might leave a negative impression, depending on who you get, and they might, be more shouty or aggressive towards you. So the general rule of thumb is bring a clear visor just in case, but most instructors, if they see you're competent enough, they'll be reasonable towards you. Yeah, these bikes aren't very high quality. They're ragged day in day out, so the suspension's going to be really bad. It actually felt worse than the Pizza Hut bikes that we use, even though it's the same model, and even though some of ours have been in crashes. And also, if you're wondering why I sound different, it's because I'm wearing my retainers right now.
Suspension's broken by the sound of it.
The one thing you don't want to be doing is doing 30 and a 20, even though you would do it in real life. Don't do it when you're under the eye of an examiner or an instructor, because they'll immediately think that you're speeding, and yeah, it's gonna look bad. Yeah, and this is plain sailing, but yeah, again, on my first CBT, it was really bad. I dropped the bike twice on the road. I didn't crash, but I dropped the bike at standstill. And don't be disheartened if that happens, because as long as you keep up, like you get back up, keep your chin up, and just get on with it without any further faults, they'll still give you your certificate as long as you've proven that you're competent enough to follow the basic laws on the road. Yeah, and in these residential streets, it's important to keep towards the centre, because don't do what I'm doing, staying on the left, but stay towards the centre, because you never know when a cat might run out, or a dog, or a football. Word of advice: when you're coming towards these junctions, you need to come more closer to the curb, especially when you're turning left. You need to come way closer to the curb so that you can almost touch it with your foot. The last thing you want, like I said, is any delivery riders coming in, cutting you up. So if you make it impossible for them to do it, then it looks better on your half. And yeah, also it helps to look towards where the traffic is coming from longest, because that's where the biggest threat is normally going to come, and then glance towards where you're going to go, and then glance back, and then go forwards again. Yeah, around these bends where you can't really see much, it doesn't hurt to go a bit wider so you get a better view. I don't know why I didn't do it. I guess I could see more than the camera's seeing. Always keep an eye on your speedo, because it will always feel different to what you're actually doing. Yep, do your lifesaver checks well and early. Mirror signal lifesaver maneuver. Always remember that. Yeah, and if you can't really see, don't be afraid to just edge forward and be a bit hesitant, because it's not like a car test where, like, if you hesitate once, you're out. They'll understand if you're having poor visibility. They'll understand if you're a bit, slow to move out. Yeah, I got told to pull over here at the nearest safe place, and you're allowed to park on disabled lines, as long as they say where it's safe to do so. You can park there, and it has to be I think 20 meters away from any junction. I think that was well away from that. Yeah, that's a very strange junction. You have to stay well on the left side, and if you find yourself a little bit too far to the right, you still have to do your lifesaver to move over. I think that guy was letting me go, or he was turning off or something.
Okay.
When you go past a train station like that, always keep an eye on the mini cabs. They might just jump out. Yeah, do you anticipate all those things early? Move out well ahead of time, because trucks, they always have people loading them. You never know when they're gonna wheel something in front of you. Coming up to a crest now, and keep an eye on what the cars in front are doing. If their tail lights light up, start slowing down. If they don't, then keep your speed. As we're going downhill, make sure your speedo doesn't go too high. If it does, just apply a little bit of the brakes. I wish I could hear what the instructor's saying, but there was no way for me to record what he was saying. So I'm just gonna have to guess, going off what I'm actually doing and looking at. See, in the A2 they would have told you to just filter towards the front, but on your CBT, don't even try and filter. You can, but don't, because they'll look down on it. because at the end of the day, they don't really know what your skill level is at. The only reason I didn't is because I'm taking it easy. I just can't be asked to put in effort. I'm trying to serve the time, you know. I don't like being on these scooters because I think the CBT is the same amount of time spent. Like, its filtering doesn't really save you anything. And when you're stuck behind a car, remember to leave a good amount of space so you can see their rearview mirror and it's a car length away from the bumper. Be aware of people doing weird stuff like that. It was a very weird way to go in your driveway. And when cyclists are up ahead, be very careful because they can move across the road like at any point. Luckily this guy saw me early, and he stayed on his side. But if they don't look like they're gonna look at you or stay in their side of the road, always slow down and wait for them to make a move. Yeah, when you see parked cars like that, always stay well more than an arm's length away because you don't want to get doored. Yeah, lifesaver before you even turn these side roads. You could have, stayed a bit. You could have turned a bit earlier than that on the road. I have this weird habit of turning too far, so like I almost meet the curb when I turn. I don't know why. I think it's from like when I learnt in a hatchback for the first time, because you have to take a wide arc with a car. That was a bit. No, don't do that. Don't do what I just did. Don't go next to the car. If they want to go through, you wait in the gaps between the cars. You don't try and squeeze between both. Luckily, the instructor knew I knew what I'm doing and trusted that I'm not going to crash. But for your first time, they will think that you're going to crash if you do that. And you especially don't do that on your A2 or your full license test. Yeah, careful when people do that as well. To be fair, you shouldn't accelerate quickly away from anything on your CBT. Oh yeah, when you see these speed bumps, if you see people from the opposite side of the road coming, you take the gap closest to the curb. But if there's no one there, then you can take the middle. I tend to take the middle anyway because I'm a bit of a dick, but what they tell you is to take the one closest to the curb. Yeah, whenever you see people crossing like that, always be prepared to stop before they cross. I think my instructor's behind me beeping at the pedestrians. I wouldn't personally beep because it might be seen as aggressive, but always just be prepared to stop in those situations. Yeah, like that. That's how you should take those speed bumps. That's perfect. That's exactly how you're supposed to do it. Yeah, the ones where they're in the middle count as a central reservation. You don't need to even worry about that. If they come on your side of the road like that, then that's their fault. Always go round the roundabout. Don't cut across like you would normally. Even if it's difficult to do so, you still gotta do it. Now this roundabout is a bit annoying because there's 2 lanes here, but you can't see them because they're not marked. Always look for a seam or a crease in the road, and don't be afraid when the examiner or instructor comes right up behind you or to the side of you. He's just trying to cover your exit, basically. He's not doing it to intimidate you. I think I missed a lifesaver there. And a cat, yeah. Always slow down for cats. In a car test, you would never do an emergency brake when you see an animal because it's illegal, but on a bike test, if you see an animal, you need to slow down, otherwise you will crash if it hits you. Yeah, keep a good space from the doors. Don't do what I'm doing. Go a bit closer to the other curb. Yeah, and when your lane closes, always move out early. Yeah, this entrance to the roundabout shows it turns into 2 lanes, but you don't notice it because there's no markings in the ground. So always look for the crease or an imaginary line where you could fit 2 cars, and then stay to the left of that wherever possible. And you should technically look over your shoulder before you do what I just did. Whenever 2 lanes turn into 1, you should be careful. Make sure no one's cutting in front of you. Yeah, especially with high-sided vehicles like this, always stay in their line of vision. As the saying goes, if you can't see them, they can't see you. I see way too many delivery riders and even my colleagues just completely forgetting about that. Now that guy, I knew he was going to be slowed down by the cyclist and all the pedestrians and stuff, so I could go in front of that cyclist. I think he told me to stop here, maybe? Or was he stuck behind traffic? Oh yeah, no, I went in front of the cyclist, but the instructor waited because he didn't know if the cyclist was going to speed up, but I knew it was physically impossible for that cyclist to cut in front of me, so I just went for it. And right now I'm just slowing down because he's telling me on the radio what to do, and just to say slow. If you ever lose contact with your instructor, just slow down. If you can't see them for a long time, be prepared to stop. If it's just your CBT, then they might even call you on your phone. So don't worry about it, basically. And if they ever get lost, really, they have a tracker on your bike, so they'll be able to find you eventually. We're taking the 3rd exit, so you stay on the inside line. They'll show you when you learn before the road test. They'll show you a diagram, and they'll compare it to a clock. And anything past 12 o'clock, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, etc., you stay on the right-hand side. Anything before 12 o'clock, so like 11, 10, 9, you always stay to the left. Or even 12 o'clock itself, you stay to the left. Stay in the left-hand lane, because it's your default. But one thing you don't want to be doing is what I see a lot, and that's people going from the outside lane to the inside lane, then the outside lane again on roundabouts. And especially never ever go from the left to the right on a roundabout ever. You could die like that. Always take it easy over speed bumps. Never speed between them. You're just wasting petrol and your brakes. And I could tell that guy was going to open his door. It looked like I got close to him, but I don't think I did in real life. Yeah, you see that school zone sign on the floor. Luckily, there was 0 chance that school would be on because it was locked down, but still pretend that it is a school day anytime you see that. Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to come right up against that curb whenever you turn. When you turn left, I mean. Yeah, you can hear the horrible suspension just vibrating through the entire bike. It's nasty. Yeah, potholes everywhere. he told me that he was going to go in front of me, so I knew I needed to see it coming. Actually, I think this is the point where I told him about the speedometer. Yeah, I did tell him about the speedometer, and he said, "I'll just pull over here." So if anything's wrong with your bike, just tell them, let them know, and then wait, is this the point? No, it isn't. Okay, he was just telling me how to move off, I guess, even though I knew how to do it. Oh no, wait, I know what this is. So it's the U-turn. Just telling me how to do it on your CBT. Yeah. Normally they wouldn't make you do this in a road test, but they can. Just be mindful of not making the turn too tight. Never make it hard for yourself. Always use the full width of the road. When you do your observations, make sure that your head isn't turning your entire body, because that would... Oh no, sorry. Make sure your head isn't controlling where the bike is going until you want to actually turn. Also, on these bikes, they have combined braking. Whenever you see a bike like that, make sure that you never grab the rear brake, because it applies the front brake too.
What are you doing so far? I'm
tip.
happy with most of what you're doing. I think you could signal a bit earlier sometimes.
He's giving me
Signal
feedback
to
right
come on
now.
a bit late, yeah? And try and see the roads a bit earlier. That's the only thing that I could say, I could talk to you about really. The rest of what you're doing is not bad, yeah? And I'm glad you kind of stopped from rushing around as much as you were earlier. Yeah, so kind of backed off a bit, yeah, but you've got to keep to the speed limit today, yeah? No one keeps the speed limit, I don't, yeah? I don't keep the speed limit either when I'm on my own.
Oh yeah, one thing, you know the speedometer? The needle keeps bouncing like a 10 miles an hour. Like between, like when I'm at 40, it goes... Like especially around 40, it starts bouncing quite a lot. So I don't know what speed I'm going.
Yeah, whenever you've got a problem with the bike, just tell them. They'll know what to do, and they'll confirm it for you. And if it turns out like it's not something that they can solve on the side of the road, just understand that they'll be taking that into account. They'll be more lenient with you when it comes to speed.
Oh well, it is what it is. I just hope for the next person that takes that bike, they don't have to deal with the same problem. Such as life with CBT bikes.
As you can see, that's the bike that my instructor's using. It's very similar to my first bike that I had, the CBR125. It's carbureted, but the gear lever is really annoying on it, and I don't like the seating position at all. But it does have nice fat tyres, which is better than most 125s. Safer. Here he is.
Yeah, it does do that a bit. You know, just to get used to it. In other words, you're thinking about that, but you're not really sure you know that's finished. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that was that. What else was there? Anything else that I could think of? I think that's about it, really. Right, so we've got to do a certain amount of time on the roads, yeah, and because it's only you, yeah, we will be doing a lot more mileage than you would normally do, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll try and keep it as interesting as possible. That's the first manoeuvre we've done, yeah? We've got to do a hill start and an emergency stop on the road as well at some point. So I'll let you know when that happens, yeah? But so far, mate, what you're doing is good. So it's like a grin and bear it road ride, this is really. That's what it is. So I'll try and make it as interesting as possible as far as the ride is concerned, okay? So when you're ready, do you live around this area?
I live around...
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, right, well, we won't be going that way. Okay, right, so when you're ready, mate, put your back down, yeah. Nice job, mate. Keep up the good work.
road ride is always really long. If you ever feel bored or I don't know, tired, just remember it'll be over, and then you don't have to worry about it until if you decide to do it again for the next 2 years. In my opinion, this method of doing the CBT is very pointless, because you're cramming all this space that you would normally in a car learn over a period of a year or maybe a few months, and just condensing it into one day. And most people, it's not enough. So if you look incompetent or you feel incompetent on the road, don't feel bad about it. I was very bad on my first CBT. Literally within one ride, like you'll see on my first video on my channel, I was very incompetent even still. And then the ride after that, which was the first Noob in London video, I was a much better rider, just from like because it'll all click at a different time for different people, and for most people this time isn't enough. The CBT it's inadequate. You cannot condense that much information for most people.
You know, this is actually making me quite confident for my upcoming A2. Just wish they would let me book it, you know? The apocalypse is not fun at all. This day is quite fun, but this is boring dystopia.
It makes your more confident riders more confident, but it makes anyone who's less experienced or
not like this. Where's the road sign?
oh god, this is a horrible corner. You see that car parked on the outside? People could cut that line, and as you can see, he did.
Pretty fast.
Be very careful of that.
Look at that, that's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah, so don't ever feel disheartened if you're not good at the CBT. If you feel like you've quote unquote failed, or you've done so badly on the CBT that you want to just give up riding, literally just, you know, give it a few more rides. If you've already got your bike, don't just sell it, just take your own bike out on a few rides, and then guarantee you within a few rides it'll all click for you. Once it does, you'll just wonder why did I ever think of giving up.
Wensleydale. At Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, I made my observation way too early, so don't be afraid to do them again if you feel like you've done them way too early.
This feels slightly less dodgy than the ones I got at work.
Really? Really? I think it feels more dodgy. Oh wait, I think I mean the brakes. Because at work we've got horrible brakes that we're always stuck on. Very dangerous. The good thing about instructors is that they will always maintain the bike to the extent where it's safe. But delivery companies like Pizza Hut, they'll only maintain the vehicle to the point where it's legal. There's a big difference between that, because what is legal and what is safe are two very different things. What is legal is often more unsafe than doing things illegally. For instance, look at combined braking. Why is that a thing? You'd be better off with no ABS and no driver aids at all. I prefer drum brakes to combined brakes, to be fair. They're that bad. I've actually crashed and broken my foot because of combined braking.
What is that?
Oh, saw a limo. Wow. Yeah, that's what you should do when someone wants to come in. Just slow down and leave the gap open. This roundabout annoys me because people turn without indicating. I'm not sure they're going to do it here. You got poor visibility too.
front, okay? So this is a hill start, okay? So what I want to do is at the moment pull away from here with hand rolling back. You know how to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. To do it twice, so from here, I want you to ride from here. You see the first lamppost on the left? There's
Yeah.
the lamppost. Stop next to that, we'll do it again in a moment. Take two to the surface, away from here, slowly rolling back to the street.
I could not hear what he was saying. I'm gonna have to boost his audio so you can hear it, but I couldn't hear what he was saying. I think this was hill starts, maybe. Yeah, it was a hill start. It doesn't look that steep, but it is. You can see by the buildings it's pretty steep. On your A2 they'll take you up much steeper hills than that though. Whenever you're doing it, especially these automatic bikes, make sure to give it more gas than you need, and only let go of the brakes once you're moving. All of this is a lot easier if you've already passed your car test, which I do recommend doing. It's a much safer way of learning the road. Even if this is cheaper, it's always good to have the experience. And plus, if you need to rent a car, you'll have a car license anyway. Lucky me, a whole empty dual carriageway just to myself. I can't remember what the speed limit is here. I think that was a repeater, I couldn't really see it. I'm looking at this at a very small preview window. You guys can probably see more than I can. But yeah, just look out for those repeater signs whenever you join the dual carriageway. Yeah, whenever you see traffic lights, use a tiny bit of the brakes, but you don't need to use that much. Just brake well in advance. This roundabout, you can't tell people are going to go all the way around because they never indicate. I just went on instinct. Yeah, always join back in the left lane. I think we're going up to Bants Hill. I mean, logically speaking, you know that there's no cyclist there, but you have to look in anyway. Lucky me, no. What was that? Well, lucky me, no cars either side. Yep, that's a 20 zone. See, what I do in real life is I stand up whenever I see a speed bump, even on a moped, like motocross style, and I don't slow down for it. But on the test, stay seated down, and slow down so it doesn't hurt your back. Personally, I don't see there's anything legally wrong with standing up and doing that. But remember, you have to show the examiner that you're conscious of what that actually supposed to do. It's supposed to slow your speed down. They'll take you down a lot of neighborhoods that you wish you could afford to live in. And yeah, you see a lot of these vans just parked on the corner obnoxiously like that. Yeah, don't be afraid to just lean all the way forwards to see. If you still can't see, just walk the bike forwards. Don't need to even accelerate. Yeah, even in tight situations like that, you've got to take the outside. You can't cut across the roundabout. Even when you see a quiet street like this, don't be tempted to floor it, even though there's no speed bumps. Don't do what he just did when you go over a roundabout. Go around it like I'm doing. When you see this crease in the middle of the road, that means you stayed to the left of it. I thought he was going to cut across
Huh?
the
Okay.
roundabout, but he was going into his drive. Yeah, this really was a grin and bear it type ride, because straight after this I had to go to work and ride the exact same moped for another 4 hours. Well, I think it was 5 hours maybe. For most of you, you won't need to... Oh god, yeah, what the hell was that? I thought it was going to turn in my road, and then he just parked up. But yeah, most of you won't have to deal with that kind of endurance. Once you do this long ride, it'll be over. But I have to do it every day for work, so yeah. Whenever you feel like you're going to give up when you're doing this because it's too long, just stick with it, because it'll be over soon, and you won't have to do it again, hopefully. Yep. Always make sure they can see you before you decide to actually commit to the turn, because they might just dive across the road. Yep. He told me to pull over. Oh, was this the emergency stop? I'm not sure. Maybe. But yeah, whenever they do that, they'll always make sure the road is clear, and they'll tell you to keep an eye on the road behind you as well. Yeah, looks like it's clear. Then you can accelerate to whatever speed they tell you to, and then you just brake progressively. I'm scared of this bike because I've already had an accident on it because of the stupid combined braking, so I'm a little bit hesitant, but you can stop quicker than that. Especially on his bike, which has no combined braking or ABS. I really do wish I did this test on my bike, but I couldn't because my CBT ran out before I did this. Yeah, that was way better. See, a trick you can do to make that a lot shorter is stab the rear brake and then quickly progressively apply the front brake, and just keep squeezing harder and harder on the front brake while releasing the rear brake a bit. Because what you're doing is you're transferring the weight more and more to the front, which increases your contact patch at the front as well, and it reduces your contact patch at the rear. Interesting, all these people are parking on the curb, but I was told that if you park on the curb, it's illegal, and you can get a ticket for it. I guess it's the case of if everyone's doing it, then they can't prosecute everyone or fine everyone. Personally, I always thought that parking on the curb is the sensible and the right thing to do, because you're saving space on the road. And in my opinion, if you save space on the road, it's more important than saving on the pavement, because humans are thin, cars are quite big, and you need more space when you're going faster, and humans are quite slow. So, it's one of those stupid laws. But I do remember a time when everyone used to park on the curb, and it was fine.
What?
Yeah,
This is so odd.
what was that junction?
There's a
That's
bus
just
lane in the
stupid.
middle.
You'll come across this a lot, especially if you live in a weird area with new roads. Road designers are given free rein to just ruin roads and possibly even take as many lives as they can with their stupid concepts. So always be aware, don't become a victim of some stupid road designers kill fetish. if they've done a stupid road design, you have to put your head on a fucking swivel. Always have a 360-degree view of your surroundings, because if they throw something like that in the road, you could die for it. In particular, there's a roundabout in Enfield, near the DVLA test centre, that they will take you through if you go and pass your test there. Where the road turns into
I see them move into
it's very weird to explain, but when you see it on your test, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. They've turned it into a death trap. They've made it so that the traditionally straight ahead lane is a left turn lane, and the right turn lane has been turned into a straight ahead and right turn lane. And the straight ahead, oh god, I can't explain it. The left hand lane has been turned into a left hand turn, but it gets merged into by the go ahead lane on the roundabout. So what happens is people get swiped off the road when they go across that roundabout, or even when they're just turning left, they can get easily taken out. Or what happens is people from the outside lane, because they're locals, they're used to the roundabout going straight from that lane, so they go ahead, and you have to cut into their lane before you turn right or go ahead. So you're basically forced to collide with them, essentially, or they will basically undercut the entire roundabout and just smack right into you at speed, because they all speed around there. That's what I'm talking about. Like, if you come across that type of situation, always put your head on a swivel, because the road designers are trying to satisfy their kill fetish. They want to kill as many people as they can on the road, and don't let them do that. Don't become one of their statistics. Yeah, always do your observations before you pull away. Yeah, when you're turning right, always stay on the right hand side of the road before you turn. I wonder what these are for. Probably to stop lorries coming, which means that you should be aware that lorries won't be coming in this road, but vans might be. Yeah, there's school there. Obviously not school time because it's COVID. See, these I understand because they've got the markings saying that you can park there. But there's a lot of roads here where people are just parked on the pavement and there's no thing telling you that you can do that. There's something that I really hate about this country, is that there's very inconsistent rulings on when you can park and when you can't, and how you can park and how you can't. There's nothing you can do about it, just hope that you don't get nicked. Yeah, I could have gone then. And you'll come across this with your bike as well. You'll see that there's certain boroughs in London where you have to actually pay for a permit to park, which is stupid. Especially in Westminster and Tower Hamlets, and I think Kensington as well. Like, which sadomasochist came across that and thought, oh, it's an amazing idea, just charge motorbikes to park. It's literally just a poor tax, is all it is. If you're poor, you can't afford to park in Westminster. Yeah, stay well back from the van, make sure you can see him. I messed up there because I should have been further to the right so I could actually see his mirror. But I actually have to turn my head to see it. See, he might pull a sneaky now and reverse, try and go to the right hand lane. Luckily he didn't, but he wouldn't have seen me if I did. If he did that, he wouldn't have seen me. I hate these roundabouts. You have to make sure that there's no traffic on any lane before you pull out. In practice, in reality, you can actually pull out. It's probably not legal, but you can pull out when people are on the inside lane and you're just turning left. But yeah, it's so ridiculous. I don't like those types of roundabouts. They should have traffic lights on them. but that would increase congestion. Yeah, whenever people do that, make sure they actually stopped or they're fully outside of your lane before you go, because I've seen it a lot where they just cut back across because they cancel their turning and people get hit. Now, I have a lot of experience around this area because I did a few driving lessons here, and I've ridden down here too on my way back from Epping on a few rides, so I know exactly what these roads are like.
Oh, I've been here.
I know what to expect, but you might not, because when you come across these types of one-way systems, you might panic, and all you have to remember is stay on the left as your default, just in case you're not actually going down a one-way, but you will notice that you're going down a one-way when everyone is parked in the same direction. And in those cases, it's almost safe to assume it's one way. Just keep looking out for the signs, and if you see this type of junction but on the right it's a big give way sign, that means that you can take the right hand turn to turn right. So when you turn right, you have to take that lane. Yeah, if you see an ambulance or emergency service, don't panic, just move over to the left as soon as you can. And you might not even need to do anything, because he's going straight up the oncoming lane. On your A2, you would be perfectly fine to filter all the way down, but I'd rather not. Like I said, I was just wasting time, really. Yeah, don't ever clear the crossing unless you've got some free room ahead. You never want to block the crossing. Whoa, hang on, what exit am I taking? I guess second exit. Strange. Oh, I don't know if I took the right lane to do that. Yeah, whenever you come up to these box junctions, make sure your exit's clear before you go. If you're experienced like me, you can tell by the speed of all the cars ahead that they're not going to stop, so you'll be fine. But if you're new, don't be afraid to just slow all the way down until you see an exit. Now you can see this road gets a lot wider. That's basically 2 lanes. So yeah, you need to do lifesaver before you move over. God, it's hard to speak with the retainers in. Makes your mouth really dry. Yeah, make sure you turn down the correct lane. You'll notice by that little blue circle with the white arrow in it exactly what lane you're supposed to be in, because it will point to it. You'll be surprised at the amount of grandmas I see going down the wrong side of that. And that's how people end up on the wrong side of the motorway. Fun fact. Notice there's a bike up ahead. Keep that in mind as we approach this traffic. He's gone on the pavement now, but if we were to filter down, we would come across him again. But it looks like he's out of our hair for now. Yeah, everyone's overtaking him. Approach him cautiously, because he might jump out. But he seems well behaved. He's staying on his side of the road. All's good. Just keep going. Give him loads of distance as you go past. And keep in mind that he's there. So anytime you need to go left, you have to look over your left shoulder. Yeah, notice how even though there's speed humps here, it isn't a 20 zone, it's a 30 zone. So that rule that they might tell you about, like if there's speed bumps for 20, it's false. It's a complete lie. You can have speed bumps in the 40 zone, which I have experienced, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just up to the council how much they want to break your spine. Yeah, more speed bumps in the 30 zone. Now this looks like a 40, but don't do 40 down here. It's still 30. No matter how fun it would be, don't do it. Yeah, expect them to cut into your lane when they do that. Luckily he gave me way like he should. But yeah, don't expect them to always follow the law. And if they don't follow the law, don't swerve, just brake. Make sure that they know that that they've actually done something wrong. Because if you swerve, then you run the risk of crashing, which is way worse than just braking. You should not have to crash your bike for someone's stupid decision. If they crash into you, then at that point, then it's their fault financially. So yeah, again, even though it looks like a 40, keep an eye on what the speed limit actually is. Yep, nice clear road, don't floor it though. And especially then, because there's a cyclist there. You notice the sign said horse riders. Always make sure that they're any corner you go around, they're not horse riders there, because then you have to slow down. And depending on what the instructor says, you can either go around them or you'll have to stop the engine. Yeah, when you come across a situation like that where you know they're just going to go, just hang back. You notice how that parked car had his wheels turned. Normally that means there's someone inside who's about to set off. So whenever you see that, just slow down.
Dear God.
But in that case it was parked. And these roads are horrible, so sometimes staying in the middle is not always the safest. Just keep an eye on the road surface. Now here we could go left of this car, because he's turning right, we're turning left. It won't affect him if we go left, so no harm, no foul. Was he even indicating left? I don't know. But we can go now. Oh my god, I'm bored, are you? Gosh, yeah, these rides are quite boring, so I'm having to sit through the entire thing. I'll probably cut this down so you guys don't have to witness all of it, but damn, this is boring. Now the thing with buses is they have rear view cameras, so you could technically go right behind them, but I'd still recommend staying within their mirror range. Yeah, like that, that's better. Yeah, these keep clear signs, even if there's a space in front. If the vehicle in front is like a van, you don't really want to be going up behind it. You want to leave that space, just stay behind the keep clear sign. All these cues, and I'm not filtering.
Fucking hell, this is some steep road.
The gradient's quite steep, which I'm not really used to where I live. It's quite flat. But don't be alarmed when you come to a stop. Always use more of the rear brake than the front. That looks like a nice road. But don't barrel down it like the Mercedes did, because it's not a 40. Yep, I'm sick of this. I'm definitely editing a lot of this out. It's too long. Can you believe it? A 20 zone.
My God.
Why would they do that?
Holy crap. I'm glad I don't live here.
Something tells me that people that design these roads are into the other type of CBT, if you know what I mean. Gosh, 20 on that road. What happened here that justified that? Because I guarantee you, people are still going to speed on it. In fact, they are more likely to speed on it now that it's a 20. So it's definitely not solved their speeding problem. Something serious must have happened here. I don't agree with it, honestly. I think 20 zones are more dangerous than 30 zones. I definitely don't buy the argument that it lowers pollution or saves fuel or whatever, because it doesn't. You're more likely to find people speeding in 20 zones and then slamming on the brakes whenever they reach a speed bump.
Oh, my ass is really hurting now.
Yeah, it's a really uncomfortable bike.
Dude, what? This can't be a 30.
Unfortunately, it is. Again, I have no idea why. Look where the houses are, and yet it's a 30. Like I said, they're into the other type of CBT. These road designers, man. I've actually been down this area with my mate, and we bombed down it at like 50. So yeah, I can't imagine doing the speed limit here. I'm not looking forward to driving my car with the black box on. Unfortunately, I was forced to because poverty, but hey ho. God, I'm not looking forward to driving the speed limit again. Holy crap. If this is what they're like. I don't get me wrong, scenery is amazing, but God. 30? Really? That's why. Because of the roundabouts. But in my opinion, there's a better way of implementing that. It should be a 40 zone, and there shouldn't be roundabouts there should be a junction. But hey, I could never be a road designer because I don't like killing people, and I also don't like CBT. Might as well let him go. I ain't gonna fit in that gap, and I shouldn't because it's a big van. You'd have to be in the keep clear zone to be in his mirrors. It's fine in a car because, especially his, you can just tank the hit if he reverses on you. Yeah, for me this is really, really boring, but I guarantee you if you had this ride as your first ever ride on a motorbike, it would be amazing, even at 30 and 20 mile an hour zones. It would be so good, because I remember what my first one was like. The first time I went from 20 to 30, ooh man, satisfying.
Sort of been down here.
Deja vu. I've just been in this place before.
Oh, this is really
Yep, you'll get a sore
well.
ass. Especially on this bike.
See you, man. Yeah, you too, man.
He was one of the instructors on my CBT. We had a quick convo about Spicy 110 because I saw he had a spicy sticker on his bike, and he's also got the t-shirt as well, the filtering yes it's legal thing. Cool guy, top bloke, and I recommend that anyone who wants to learn how to do their CBT or A2 training or DAS or anything, go to the guys at One Stop Instruction. Okay, you got that out of your system now? Good. Okay, now I can fully shout them out. So it's One Stop Instruction Fairlop. Their office is actually located in Seven Kings, but they come to Fairlop to do the tests and stuff. I couldn't ask for a better instruction school. Best roads, I guess, that they can give you. Definitely the best instructors. They never lose their temper, ever. I don't think I've ever triggered their anger, ever. They got such good patience. Go to them lot, because you might not pass first time, but it'll definitely be a positive experience compared to, say, the one that I went to in West Ham, which was horrible roads too, and the guy was always angry. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed that very boring video. I hope it helped out anyone who's hoping to do their CBT or get on a bike soon, or maybe you just done yours and you didn't feel confident in it and was wondering where you went wrong. Hopefully this video eased your nerves and helped you out, I guess. If you want to see my other stuff, I have loads of different raw videos of me riding like a hooligan. I will have soon some videos on my car as well that I've just bought. Volvo S60 2-litre turbocharged 5-cylinder engine. Sounds like half a Dodge Viper, but I won't be able to drive that fast because I've got a black box on it right now. So I'll have to do other types of stuff next year with it, but for now there's loads of 125 full send videos, soon to be some 600cc full sends. Also got loads of motor vlogs that I've done. I don't think I've got any coming up, but my library of motor vlogs is pretty good. Some dual rides as well, and hopefully also some edits in the future. So if you want to see all that stuff, stick around. I'm obviously not going to do more CBT stuff because I've passed mine now. If you want to see like maneuver videos and all that, just look on YouTube. There's loads, like literally hundreds and thousands probably, videos helping you. I think my instructor who was in this, he actually has his own, I think he probably has his own YouTube channel because he was talking to himself a lot on the camera. So he must, he probably has one out there, you might find him. Also, to the guys at One Stop, if you guys see this video, please don't sue me. I'm gonna try and cover up your information as much as I can, or identifying information like your face and plates. But if you want me to shout you guys out in the description, I will put a link. I don't mean this to defame anyone or anything, so please don't do what the DVLA did to that one guy who recorded his test, because this isn't really a test, it's just CBT. Hopefully you guys are fine with me keeping this up. But anyway, yeah, hopefully see you guys in the next one then. Bye.